Brother, stop scrolling. You need to hear this. There's a moment in every man's life where he feels like he's invisible. He texts, he waits, he overthinks. He gives his heart too early, and she pulls away like it meant nothing. The silence hurts, the games confuse, and you're left sitting in a dark room, wondering, what did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough? But here's the brutal truth. It's not always about what you did wrong. Sometimes it's about what you didn't understand. See, most men are never taught how women truly think. Not by their fathers, not by school, not by the world. So they chase, they beg, they try harder, and every time they do, they kill the very attraction they're trying to build. You think loving harder will fix things, but to her, it feels like weakness, not because she's cruel, but because she's wired differently. If you don't learn how to lead with masculine peace, emotional control, and deep internal value, she will never feel safe in your presence. She will drift, she will test, and she will vanish. That's not rejection, that's nature, and unless you understand this, you'll keep losing women over and over while blaming yourself. But not today. Today, I'll tell you the truth, the secret psychology of women, and how Stoic men win in love without ever chasing it. Let's begin. You keep trying to reason with her. You explain, you text paragraphs. You send voice notes hoping she'll just understand. You think, if I can just show her how much I care, if I can just explain that I'm not like the others, she'll stay, she'll choose me. But the truth is, she won't. Because you're talking to her like a man while expecting her to feel like a woman. Brother, you need to understand something that no one probably ever told you. Women don't process love the way you do. You might feel love through action, loyalty, and words, but she feels love through emotional presence. Through your energy, not your explanation. You could be saying all the right things, but if your energy feels needy, anxious, desperate, she'll back away. Not because she wants to hurt you, but because it feels unsafe to her spirit. Women are not logical processors of love. They're emotional barometers. They feel your temperature, your sense of self, your confidence, your centeredness before they ever think about being with you. If your energy feels like it needs her validation just to breathe, she won't feel desire, she'll feel pressure. And pressure, to a feminine woman, feels like danger. You've been told your whole life that if you just be nice, if you're loyal, if you show her effort, she'll choose you. But in reality, she doesn't fall for the guy who explains himself. She falls for the man who doesn't need to. She gravitates to the one whose world isn't shaken by her mood swings, who doesn't beg when she's distant, who doesn't chase when she tests. He simply stands still. That stillness, that's the energy of a man rooted in Stoic peace, the kind of man who doesn't need to win her because he's already won himself. And this is where most men lose the game before it even starts. You walk in trying to impress her, trying to show her your worth. But a man who knows his value doesn't need to announce it, he just is. And ironically, that's exactly what makes her feel drawn to him. His silence, his poise, his calm energy in the storm. When she tests him, he doesn't react. When she pulls away, he doesn't chase. When she's emotional, he doesn't crumble because he understands her nature. He knows she isn't looking for a perfect man. She's searching for a man who doesn't fall apart under pressure. Brother, stop explaining yourself. Start embodying yourself. Stop begging to be loved. Start becoming someone who doesn't need to be. Because you woman doesn't want to be your therapist, your emotional crutch, or your savior. She wants to feel your strength, not carry your insecurities. And if you're sitting there thinking, so what, I just hide my emotions. No, That's not Stoicism. Stoicism is not emotional suppression, it's emotional mastery. It's feeling the pain, the rejection, the confusion, and still choosing to move with clarity and control. It's loving her deeply, but not losing yourself when she doesn't return it the way you hoped. Women don't fall for boys who react. They respect men who remain calm in chaos. This isn't about pretending, this is about becoming. The more you try to act like the man she wants, the more she'll feel the inauthenticity. But the moment you become that man, the grounded, centered, emotionally disciplined version of you, she won't just want you. She'll feel safe enough to surrender to you, and that's the truth most men never hear. You don't win her with your words. You win her with your energy. That's not game, that's real psychology. That's Stoic masculinity in motion. A lot of men walk around begging for love like starving dogs. Every text becomes a lifeline. Every reply from her is a hit of dopamine. You sit there staring at your phone, overanalyzing the gap between her replies, as if that determines your value as a man. It's not your fault. Society raised you to believe that if you're a good guy, if you show love, it'll be returned. But the real world doesn't work like that, and especially not with women. Here's the truth that hits hard the first time you hear it. Love is not given to you out of pity or fairness. It is reflected back to the man who already walks like he deserves it. Not because he's arrogant, not because he's pretending, but because he carries himself like a man who knows exactly who the hell he is, with or without her. You don't chase love when you believe you are love. You don't beg for connection when you're already connected to your purpose. But most men, they show up empty. They think, if I get the girl, then I'll be happy. They make her the destination, the goal, the medicine for their emotional wounds. So they overgive, they overpursue, and in doing so, they disrespect themselves. You cannot attract something that validates you if you don't already believe in your own value. Women don't fall in love with effort alone. They fall in love with emotional energy, the confidence, the calmness, the quiet power that a man radiates when he knows he doesn't need her. When he desires her, yes, but when he doesn't collapse without her. And I know some of you are thinking, so I just stop caring. No. Stoicism is not apathy. Stoicism is awareness without attachment. You can love deeply, but without allowing that love to define you. That's the key. She senses when you show up already full, already grounded, already strong, and that energy, that's what allows her to lean in, to trust, to open, because you're not asking her to fill your holes, you're inviting her to add to your wholeness. A man who knows his worth doesn't rush love. He observes, he leads, he attracts, he moves with clarity. If she's interested, he welcomes her energy. If she's confused, he doesn't chase her into her own storm. He lets her figure it out. Why? Because he knows he doesn't chase confusion. He chooses alignment. He chooses peace. But most of you give your crown away too fast. You fall in love with a pretty face before you even know her soul. You attach to the idea of her before she's proven anything. And then you act surprised when she pulls away. She didn't change. You never had her in the first place. You had hope, not connection. Brother, stop giving the best parts of you to women who haven't earned it. Your presence, your energy, your loyalty, those are sacred. They belong to a man who values himself. And if you don't believe in your own worth, why should she? Love is not a reward. It's a mirror. She doesn't give it to you. She reflects what you believe about yourself. So if you want deeper love, real connection, a woman who respects your masculine core, then don't go out trying to win her. Go inward, build the man who's already worthy, because when you do that, when you become that man, you won't have to beg for love. You won't even have to chase it, it'll come looking for you. You call it manipulation, you call it games. You say she's toxic, but deep down part of you knows she was just testing you. She didn't yell. She didn't insult you. She just went quiet for a bit. She pulled back. She didn't reply like she used to, and suddenly your entire world collapsed. Your mind spiraled, your confidence cracked, and within minutes you became the man she no longer respected. Let me say this clearly, brother. Her tests are not the problem. Your emotional fragility is. Women test because it's part of their nature. It's not cruel. It's not even conscious most of the time. It's instinct. When a woman feels uncertain, when she feels tension, when she feels her emotions shift, she sends out signals. Not to destroy you, but to measure you, to see if you're really the man you say you are, to see if you'll stand tall when she gets emotional, to see if your confidence is real or just borrowed from her attention. And this is where most men fail. Because instead of standing in their masculine calmness, they react, they panic, they overtext, they ask what's wrong 100 times. They write essays trying to fix a feeling she hasn't even processed yet. But a woman doesn't want to be fixed. She wants to be felt, and more than that, she wants to feel you steady, grounded, clear. When you start reacting to her emotions like she's your emotional anchor, you lose her. Because now the weight is on her to make you feel safe, and that's not how attraction works. She's the river. She flows, she moves, she changes, you're the mountain. You don't shift every time she storms. The problem isn't that women test. The problem is you haven't developed the emotional discipline to pass the tests. And I get it. You weren't taught this. Most men weren't. You were taught to be nice, to care, to respond quickly. But nobody told you how destructive that nice guy behavior becomes when it's rooted in fear. Because she feels that fear. She feels the insecurity in every message. She feels the anxiousness in your need to always resolve conflict instantly. She feels your soul shrink every time she doesn't validate you, and she starts to wonder, if this man is shaken by my silence, how will he lead me through real life? That's what the test is really about. Not control, not cruelty, but capacity. Can you hold her when she doesn't even know what she feels? Can you love her without trying to control her? Can you sit in the tension and not fall apart? A stoic man doesn't fight the test. He doesn't fear the test. He respects the test, because he knows every woman, even the best ones, will check to see if the man in front of her is truly rooted. And if you fail, it's not because you're weak. It's because you haven't done the inner work. You haven't faced your loneliness. You haven't rebuilt your confidence. You haven't cut off your dependency on female attention as your drug. When you do that, the tests stop feeling like attacks. They feel like what they are, feminine expressions of uncertainty. And when you meet that uncertainty with grounded masculinity, she relaxes, she softens, because she realizes she can finally trust you. So next time she pulls back, don't panic. Next time she goes silent, don't chase. Next time she's emotional, don't crumble. Sit with yourself, feel the trigger, let it pass, and then respond not from your wounds, but from your center. Because that's what separates a boy pretending to be a man from a stoic who already is one. Let's talk about the thing no man wants to admit, that he's emotionally reactive. That deep down he lets a woman's mood dictate his own. If she's warm and loving, he's confident and calm. But if she pulls away, if she seems distant or cold, suddenly he's anxious. He starts checking his phone like an addict. His chest tightens, his thoughts race. He becomes a different man, and that's the problem. If you're not the leader of your emotions, you will always be a slave to hers. Every man thinks he's strong until he falls for a woman who doesn't give him constant reassurance, until she stops texting good morning, until she says, I need space. That's when the truth shows, and it's ugly. Because in that moment, he doesn't just feel abandoned, he feels powerless. And instead of breathing through that storm, he reacts to it. He gets needy, he tries to fix. He apologizes for things he didn't even do. He shrinks himself just to make her stay. But brother, let me ask you something. What kind of woman do you think wants a man who can't even control his own inner world? You can't lead her, build with her, or inspire her if you can't even stay rooted in your own presence when things get messy. And they will get messy. Life is messy. Relationships are unpredictable. Her emotions will swing, not because she's broken, but because she's human. Feminine energy is fluid, chaotic, beautiful, and yes, sometimes hard to understand. But that's not the point. The point is, you are the one who must be still when she isn't. You are the one who must hold the emotional frame. Not by force, not by control, but by example, and that starts with leading yourself. You can't demand peace from her if you don't have it within you. That's not leadership, that's dependence. And listen, I'm not saying suppress your feelings, I'm saying master them. That's the Stoic way. You feel it all, the anger, the fear, the sadness, but you don't let it own you. You don't let it run your decisions. You don't let it drive your words. You sit with it, you face it, and you learn to respond instead of react. That's the mark of a man who's done the work, and she can feel that. She senses it in your silence, in the way you don't flinch when she tests you, in the way you stay kind but firm, loving but unshakable. When you stop reacting to her storms, something magical happens. She trusts you, not just with her words, with her soul, because you're showing her that she can be all over the place emotionally, and you'll still be right there, centered, grounded, present. That's masculine leadership, not barking orders, not fixing every problem, just being solid, quietly, calmly, deeply solid. But if you keep living like your emotions are tied to hers, you will never experience real love. You'll experience emotional chaos. You'll ride the roller coaster every day, confused why she keeps pulling away. But she's not pulling away from love. She's pulling away from the instability, because no woman wants to build with a man who can't lead his own heart. So ask yourself this: are you the thermostat in your life, or just the thermometer? Do you set the tone, or just reflect hers? Because a Stoic man doesn't just say, I'm strong. He proves it in silence, in storms, in stillness. And until you can lead yourself through your darkest moments, you'll never be able to lead anyone else. You fell for her hard, you made her your priority, you rearranged your schedule to see her, you delayed your workouts, your goals, your projects just to be available. You made her the center of your world, and at first she loved the attention, she smiled at the good morning texts. She said she appreciated the effort, but slowly things changed. She stopped responding as quickly. She wasn't as warm. You started noticing her interest dropping, and you couldn't figure out why. You told yourself she was just busy or stressed or going through something. But deep down your gut was screaming the truth. She was losing respect for you, not because you weren't good to her, not because you were mean, but because she felt it, that you made her your purpose, that you placed her on a pedestal. that your identity started to orbit around her affection, and that, brother, is emotional suicide. Let me tell you something real and raw. No woman wants to be the purpose of a man's life. It might feel flattering at first, but eventually it becomes heavy, draining, because now the pressure is on her to keep you stable. You've made her the oxygen to your fire. You've handed her the keys to your self-worth. And when a woman senses that you're living for her instead of something greater, she doesn't feel adored. She feels trapped. She doesn't want to be your mission. She wants to join a man who's already on one. You see, women are drawn to men who are consumed by something deeper, a vision, a goal, a life path that burns with or without her. That doesn't mean you ignore her. That doesn't mean you're cold. It means you're so anchored in your own purpose that you're never knocked off course by love. You simply bring her with you, but when your purpose becomes making her happy, you lose the very thing that attracted her in the first place, your direction, your fire, your independence. Love is a beautiful thing, but it should never cost you your edge. And here's the painful irony. The more you give her your whole life, the more she feels like she has to carry it. And no feminine woman wants to mother her man. She wants to respect him. She wants to trust his leadership, his ambition, his discipline. She wants to add to your already full life, not be the reason you get out of bed in the morning. That's where Stoicism enters. A Stoic man never places his peace in the hands of someone else. He loves deeply, yes, but he never abandons his path for love. His purpose is his compass, not her smile, not her presence, not even her loyalty, because he knows people change. Emotions shift, life moves, but his path, that's eternal. That's the one thing he must protect. And ironically, that's the exact energy that draws her in more. She respects the man who doesn't drop everything for her. She admires the man who tells her, I want you, but I don't need you to feel complete. She trusts the man who wakes up chasing purpose, not just attention. So if you've lost yourself in a woman before, let that be your wake-up call. Not to stop loving, but to start loving from a place of wholeness, from a place where your cup is already full, and she's just the overflow, not the source. Because when she sees that you won't break if she leaves, when she feels that your life will still move with discipline and fire, even if she fades, that's when she feels the safest to stay. Not because you need her, but because you inspire her to walk beside a man who doesn't abandon himself for love. That's the man she respects. That's the man she desires. That's the man you were born to become. Every man thinks he can talk his way into love. That if he just says the right thing, sends the right text, makes her laugh enough, compliments her in just the right way, then she'll fall for him. But here's the raw truth. You cannot negotiate attraction. You can't convince her to feel safe with you. You can't explain your way into being respected. Why? Because a woman doesn't submit to words, she submits to energy. You can say, I'm confident. You can say, I've got you. You can say, you can trust me. But if the energy behind your words doesn't match, she won't believe a damn thing you say. Not because she's mean, not because she's broken, but because she's wired biologically, emotionally, spiritually to feel truth, not hear it. And when your words are just noise, when you're pretending to be calm but vibrating with neediness, she feels it. She smells it like blood in the water, and no matter how smooth you are, how high, you think you sound, she withdraws. Because what women truly respond to isn't what you say, it's how you make them feel, it's the presence you carry. The groundedness, the stillness, the certainty that says, I know who I am. You're welcome in my world, but I don't need you to stay. That's the masculine energy she wants to surrender to. That's the calm dominance she trusts. That's the fire that makes her feel safe enough to drop her walls. But when you're all talk, all theory, no embodiment, she stays tense. She tests you, she doubts you. And eventually she leaves, not because you weren't enough, but because your energy was scattered, unrooted, weak. And this is where so many men get it wrong. They think submission means control, that being a man means putting her in her place, that dominance means volume. No, brother, masculine dominance is not loud, it's not aggressive, it's presence. It's the way you hold eye contact without trying to impress. It's the way you speak slowly with intention, not desperation. It's the way you sit in silence with her emotions without trying to fix them, just letting her feel safe enough to open. When a woman meets a man who carries that type of presence, she softens, she leans in, she relaxes. Not because he told her to, but because his energy gave her permission to. The same man could say nothing at all, and still lead her deeper than the guy with the perfect pickup lines. Because this game, the real game, is played with vibration, not vocabulary. So if your relationships keep collapsing, if women keep saying, "I just don't feel it anymore," if you keep hearing "you're such a great guy," but it's not your words that failed, it's your energy, and energy comes from who you are, not what you say. So who are you when she pulls away? Who are you when she's emotional? Who are you when your ego gets bruised, and you want to lash out or chase or beg? That's when your energy speaks louder than ever, and that's the moment she decides whether you're a boy pretending to be a man or a man standing in his power. A Stoic man doesn't speak to prove himself. He speaks when it adds value. He doesn't demand respect. His energy earns it. He doesn't need her to submit. He creates a space where she chooses to, because she feels safer in his strength than in her own uncertainty. That's what makes her stay, not because she has to, but because in his presence she finally feels free. There's this lie that modern culture keeps feeding you, that love is supposed to be wild, that it's meant to be chaotic, that the highs and lows, the fights and makeups, the jealousy and emotional breakdowns mean it's real. But let me tell you the truth that most men don't understand until they're broken, exhausted and alone. Real women do not feel love through drama. They feel love through safety, not boring safety, not "I'll do whatever you want" kind of safety, but deep emotional safety. The kind of presence that allows her to fully be herself without fear of judgment, abandonment, or emotional collapse. She doesn't want your money if your moods are unstable. She doesn't want your body if your spirit is restless. She doesn't care about how smooth your words are if every disagreement turns into a war. She's not looking for a hero who saves her. She's looking for a man she can breathe with, a man whose energy is peaceful, not reactive, a man who doesn't run when she's in pain, who doesn't take her emotional storms personally, who holds space for her without trying to dominate it. Because safety to a woman is everything, and if she doesn't feel safe with you, safe to be soft, to express herself, to be vulnerable, she will slowly shut down. Not because she doesn't love you, but because her feminine essence can't fully exist in survival mode. Most women aren't crazy, brother, they're tired of having to lead emotionally because the man won't. Tired of trying to explain their feelings to someone who just gets defensive, tired of being told they're too much when they're just desperate to feel seen. But when she meets a man who creates emotional safety, she melts. She stops fighting. She stops pulling away. She stops needing to be right, because finally she feels held not physically but spiritually. She feels like she can drop the armor. She can stop performing. She can just be. That's the magic right there. That's what women crave far more than abs or compliments or status. Emotional security, a man who listens without fixing, who stands firm without shouting, who protects her peace without losing his own. But here's the harsh truth. If you are not emotionally safe, she won't feel safe with you. If you're constantly up and down, if every challenge sends you spiraling, if you use her love as your emotional crutch, she'll pull away. Not because she wants to hurt you, but because she can't thrive in that instability. You think you're losing her because you're not enough. But what you're missing is that you were never meant to be her peace. You were meant to create space where her peace can unfold. That's what Stoic men do. They don't try to control love, they anchor it. They don't yell to be heard. They lead in silence. They don't manipulate for affection. They invite it. By simply being a presence she can rest in. You want her to open, be a man she doesn't have to protect herself from. You want her to love you deeply. Be the one place where her chaos doesn't scare you. You want her to trust you with her body, her heart, her soul. Then master your emotions, control your reactions, and build a world so calm that she never wants to leave it. Because love, real love, isn't about fireworks. It's about peace and the man who knows how to protect it. Here's the truth you probably never heard from your father, your friends, or even your own thoughts. A woman can only love you as deeply as you love yourself. And I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm not talking about ego or flexing. I'm talking about real, quiet, grounded self-respect. The kind of love that doesn't scream but radiates. The kind of self-worth that doesn't need approval to feel valid. The kind of inner stillness that can't be shaken by attention, rejection, or even heartbreak. Most men walk into relationships with empty hearts, starving for love, desperate to be chosen, seen, valued. And in that hunger, they give everything they have except what really matters, themselves. They give their time, their money, their loyalty, but they never give themselves the love they're begging her for. And when you don't love yourself, you chase women hoping they'll heal you, hoping they'll finally make you feel enough. But brother, that's not love, that's emotional survival, and here's what hurts to admit. No woman can do that for you. Not the perfect one, not the loyal one, not the spiritual one, because she is only a mirror. And if all she sees is a man who abandons himself, she will reflect that back with distance, confusion, resentment, and eventually departure. But when you love yourself deeply, fully, fiercely, she feels it, in your boundaries, in the way you speak to her, in how you walk away when you're disrespected, in how you don't shrink to be liked, in how you can be gentle without being weak, in how you can say no without guilt and yes without fear. That's when she feels safe to surrender. That's when she wants to pour into you, and not out of obligation, but because she can feel the royalty in your spirit. Because she knows you don't need her love. You are love, and look, I get it. You didn't grow up being taught this. Maybe no one ever told you that your feelings mattered. Maybe you were told to man up every time you cried. Maybe your heart was broken and you never recovered, just kept pretending you were fine. And now here you are trying to make a woman love you in the ways you never learned to love yourself. But that ends now. You want to change your love life. You want to attract a woman who sees you, respects you, and never plays with your soul. Then stop chasing love and start becoming the man who is worthy of it. Love yourself through the gym. Love yourself through discipline. Love yourself by cutting off distractions, by healing your past, by speaking to yourself with respect. Love yourself by refusing to settle. Love yourself by protecting your peace at all costs. Because when a man truly loves himself, he walks differently, he leads differently, he loves differently, and the right woman doesn't just notice it. She honors it. She aligns with it. She rises to meet it. So don't ask, why doesn't she love me? Ask, do I love me? And if the answer is no, don't seek another woman to fill that void. Seek your soul and reclaim it. Because in the end, you are the love you've been waiting for. And when she sees that, she'll love you for real. You know, if you made it this far, I know something about you. You're not just watching this for entertainment. You're not here for another dopamine hit or background noise. You're here because something inside you is hurting, something inside you is waking up, and you're tired of living like this. You're tired of begging for love, tired of pretending you don't care when you're dying inside, tired of watching women walk away, wondering what's wrong with you, tired of building a life that looks good on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. I've been there, brother. I've been at the bottom, when you stare at your phone like it owes you love, when your confidence is shot and your soul is numb. When you start to believe that maybe you just weren't built for this. But I'm telling you now, that voice in your chest, that quiet fire that refuses to die, that is the man you were meant to become. This isn't about her anymore. It's about you, your healing, your growth, your rebirth, and the discipline to rise, not just once, but every time life breaks you. If you felt something in this video, if your soul stirred even for a second, then don't let this just be another video you scroll past. Make it a turning point, collision like this video, not for the algorithm, but to mark this moment in your life. Brain, comment below what hit you the hardest. Speak it out loud, own it, and let the world witness your shift. Outbox Trey, share this with a brother who's slipping. You never know who's on the edge of giving up. Bell, subscribe, because this is just the beginning. I promise you, I will keep showing up for your growth, for your truth, for the fire that the world tried to silence in you. You don't need to chase love. You just need to remember who you are. And if you don't know who that is yet, stick around. We'll find him together. This is Stoic Bloodline, and your blood was always royal. It's time to start living like it.